Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much for a chance to give my maiden speech today. First and foremost, allow me to express my profound gratitude to the people of Kapiri Mposhi for giving me this extraordinary chance in my life to serve them. I want to affirm here today and right now that my first duty will always be to them. And I also want to stress that the best way I can demonstrate my commitment to them is by supporting laws that will push this country forward. And also, my commitment extends to me applying myself most sincerely in uplifting their social and economic welfare. But by far, Mr. Speaker, the most important part of my job is to be a part of the lives of the people of Kapiri Mposhi. Again, I would like to say that my destiny is a shared one with them. To the people of Kapiri Mposhi, I will mourn with you. I will celebrate with you. I will be with you. Mr. Speaker, the electorate of Kapiri Mposhi stretch far and wide. Mr. Speaker, the people of Kapiri Mposhi, our area stretches far and wide.
Order on the right.
It starts from the border that we share with Inaugural Constituency in Chief Chpepo's area, and it comes through right through Chief Nkola's area, in areas like Fubera, where I come from, down to Mukonchi, Lunsemfwa Ward, and all the way to Kampumba Ward, where we border with Luena Valley. Mr. Speaker, it was an extremely tough campaign that we went through. We didn't have much money, we didn't have a lot of resources, but we campaigned, and we campaigned very hard. When we were not campaigning, we were on our knees praying that God provides us with resources and guidance. When we were not praying, we went back to campaigning. I stand here today, Mr. Speaker, as a true testimony of the grace of God on one's life. Today, I also want to mention that the campaigns in Kapiri were actually hatched on the basis of well-wishers. I remember having meetings in somebody's living room who I just met for the first time, and they were kind enough to host us. I remember there were many women that shared their own food with us to make sure that after our campaigns, our people that came to listen to our good news gathered and had a warm meal. I also want to remember the many men and women and youths who played the role of foot soldiers in our campaign. Today, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the victory that was declared on me as a victor in Kapiri Mposhi on 13th August, that victory truly belongs to them. I also want to talk about one particular old lady. After one campaign rally in Kampumba, she followed me to the vehicle, Mr. Speaker. When I eventually noticed her, I slowed down. She was shaking with a walking stick. She looked me in the eye and said to me, "Kakubo, I'll campaign for you." In retrospect now, I don't know how that old lady could have campaigned. She was already weak, she was tired, she was old, but the blessing that she put on my life has seen me here today. Yeah. That victory, Mr. Speaker, belongs to that woman. Mr. Speaker, in Kapiri Mposhi, we had a voter register of roughly 103,000 people. However, less than 50,000 people turned up to vote. So that represents roughly about 46% of the registered voters came. This is despite a vigorous campaign that different political parties actually put out. What does it tell, Mr. Speaker? It tells that in Kapiri, where I come from, our problem right now stretches far more than the infrastructure problems that previous MPs have spoken about. In Kapiri, Mr. Speaker, I would like to say that the people of Kapiri Mposhi feel completely let down by government. They feel let down in several areas. One of them, us in Kapiri Mposhi, we are chiefly farmers. So when government fails to deliver on farming, it's a big problem. We are victims that are, in Kapiri, we have farmers who are victims of the e-voucher program. The teething problems have left our farmers poor. We are hoping that government pushes the agenda. I know the pros and cons of the e-voucher program. We have suffered with it. What happens in Kapiri is that when we don't farm properly, it means that even our economy goes even worse. it also means that we cannot sell our produce. When we cannot sell our produce, the ripple effect is severe. It means that our children now, we cannot pay school fees for them. That's what it means in Kapiri. It is already too much that we have to send our children to school who have to walk long distances. Now we have to send them hungry because our yield was bad. There are many children in Kapiri Mposhi, Mr. Speaker, who I met walking to school during the campaigns. They would wave me down, I would stop and give them a lift. Sometimes I would think, I'm going just to drop them a few meters or a few Ks. But alas, Mr. Speaker, the distances our children in Kapiri cover are way too long. These are tough times for the people of Kapiri Mposhi. Mr. Speaker, I am just one of the many youths in Kapiri Mposhi, and as youths in Kapiri Mposhi, we came together because everywhere we looked, poverty stared in our faces. We turned up in large numbers, and I was the captain of the crew, and I told them, guys, gentlemen.
Guys is not parliamentary.
Mr. Speaker, I withdraw and I replace that team with the word team. Team, how we campaigned, Mr. Speaker, in Kapiri, we were so fed up, we decided to campaign for a change of government. We did that for a very simple reason. Poverty was everywhere. We decided that this time around, we are going to fight for the welfare of our grandfathers, the welfare of our grandmothers, the welfare of youths, the welfare of our own children, the welfare of generations that are going to come after us. One thing that characterized our campaign, Mr. Speaker, like I've said in my preamble, we didn't have enough resources, but then our colleagues in the PF had a lot of resources. Kapiri as a constituency on its own was engulfed with a lot of campaign material. Even trees were being dressed in chitenges, wrappers, Mr. Speaker. In Kapiri, Mr. Speaker, we had a lot of, I think the correct word is fleeces, jumpers, hoodies, with someone's portrait on them that were being given to the public for free as a way of campaigning. Mr. Speaker, I would like to mention that in Kapiri, we do not need those things. What the ruling party should have done to help my grandmother in Kapiri was make sure that they deliver medical equipment and medicines to the people of Kapiri Mposhi. We have Mushimbili
Honorable Minister, don't go that way. Continue.
Mushimbili Hospital right now doesn't have enough medicines. The staffing levels are poor. They should have taken medicines to Tazara Clinic. That's what we need in Kapiri. Mr. Speaker, as youth in Kapiri Mposhi, their core is very simple. We had reports that we read even on social media saying that across the country, other youths in this country could not walk around in party regalia other than that of the PF. They would get assaulted. I hope that before I leave Parliament, one day, this country, this Parliament, through you, Mr. Speaker, is going to pass a motion and a new law that is going to ban party regalia. Let's focus on the real issues that our people need. Mr. Speaker, these are tough times in Kapiri, but we are privileged enough to have a university that is situated in Kapiri, Mulungushi University, that sits on the banks of Mulungushi River. This month, we had some graduates that left the university. Roughly the total number of students that we have there is about 4,400. This month, 800 actually graduated. It's a tough institution to graduate from. Sometimes the water gets rationed almost every day. Our students at that school only have 1 hour of water per day. They are not only thirsty, it's a serious health hazard. 800 graduated this month. They are going straight into a society where a lot of people already, a lot of graduates and non-graduates have applied for jobs. It's a saturated market. Some of them were saying to me, I get emails all the time, where students are telling me they would like to start a small business, and I would encourage them to do so. But we want government to meet them halfway. When the PF came into government, under President Michael Sata, may his soul rest in peace, The lending rates, the effective lending rates in this country was 18 to 19%. Today it has more than doubled. How can the graduates of Mulungushu University go into entrepreneurship? They can't get jobs. How are they going to start businesses? We want to implore government, especially the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Commerce, please negotiate with commercial banks so that they can lessen the red tape in doing business in this country. They ask for collateral. Where can an entrepreneur get collateral in this country? Nobody can afford to buy collateral now. It's difficult to build. Most of the inputs that we use to build are imported. The fittings are imported. There has to be another way that government can engage commercial banks in order to boost business in this country. Mr. Speaker, I believe that every member of this house comes to this house with a unique story. Mine started a long time ago in Kapiri Mposhi. I'm 36 years old now. But I remember when my father took me to that small town, I was around 7 years old. We moved from Ndola on a red train via Zambia Railways. And I think we got into Kapiri about 2 o'clock in the morning. For a long time, my young memory reminds me that we walked up to Headman Yumbo's house. Mr. Speaker, that's how far my story starts. My father started a small farm there. He was the local miller in the 90s. He was the main miller in Chief Nkole's area. Today, my father has been dead 11 years. I'm proud to say that I still maintain the exact workforce that he left for me. However, the gist behind my story is that that route that my father walked with me, from the rail station up to the village that we went, Mr. Speaker, is still exactly the same. Nothing has changed. May my father rest in, may my father's soul rest in peace. I also want to take this chance to remember my mother who's still alive. I want to thank her for guiding my young sister Mwangala, my oldest brother Tony, my brother Sylvester. She took up the role of both the father and the mother. I don't think my father knew that one day he would have a son talking on behalf of the many youths and the rest of the country in this house. May I also take, before I sit down, may I also take this chance to thank 3 important people that have steered my political career.
Order.
May I salute Comrade Aka in the Ichlen.
The word comrade is not allowed here.
I withdraw that statement. I replace that word with my president. I salute President Aka in the Ichlema. I remember when I was declared winner in Kapiri, I rushed to his residence after about 3 days. The words that he used when he saw me still ring in my mind today. He told me, he congratulated me, of course, and he said to me, Kakubo, go back to the people. Go and thank them for the overwhelming votes that they gave us. Mr. Speaker, I've never seen such humility in a man. I've never seen such humility in a man, Mr. Speaker. I also want to take this chance to thank his running mate, Mr. GBM, a honorable member of this house as well, a colleague of ours, a colleague of his as well. I thank these 2 gentlemen for the spirited fight that they did. I can't say much because these are matters that are already in court. Mr. Speaker, I thank you. Yeah.
Honorable member for Zambesi West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is it really me today?
Well, I don't know who you are, but I've called for Zambesi West.
Mr. Speaker, I want to begin by thanking you for giving me an opportunity to give my maiden speech in this august and prestigious house. I do so with humility and a high sense of honor for having been given the opportunity, responsibility to represent the people of Zambesi West. But, Mr. Speaker, before I go further, I would like to say that you inspire me with your unique laughter.
I think our C is inspiring me.
I have finally been given this opportunity, having attempted 3 times before. My first attempt was in 2006 as an independent, 2011 under the MMD, then in 2014 by elections by the same party. I am now a member of the mighty United Party for National Development. And I want to thank the UPND leadership under the able leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema for giving me this rare opportunity to stand on the UPND ticket to render my services to the people of Zambesi West. Mr. Speaker, allow me to join other honorable members in congratulating you on your successful re-election to the honorable office of Speaker. I also wish to congratulate the first and second deputy speakers on their deserved election to their positions. I'm confident and I have great hope that you will preside over the business of this House with a high level of integrity to make